Could the X-Men survive every Batman villain? Obviously, the X-Men are easily clapping every Batman villain. I don't care who it is. I kind of look at the X-Men on the level of being kind of like the Justice League. Not really. Justice League is, they're stronger, kind of. The X-Men have some really broken characters too. Like the X-Men are really toned down. Justice League are like really toned up. So it's like they're godly. The X-Men are gods. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Could the X-Men survive every Batman villain? Easily. I mean, without question. Wolverine's chopping up everybody. He'll walk up to Joker. Joker would be laughing. Wolverine would just what and how? When he turned around and then topped his head up, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Like, I wish we could see more of that type of stuff in theaters. That was like the most beautiful scene I've ever seen. Okay. Iceman by himself could just freeze Gotham. I mean, Iceman froze hell. Professor X can just make everybody go crazy. Professor X would be in Gotham. Scarecrow around, put fear toxin on Professor X. Professor X have a seizure and shit. What are you doing to me? Come on. Everybody's dead. Like, let's jump in here, boys.
A yellow spark flashes in the dark, and 3 seconds later, Jubilee understands she's choking. Green vapor floods the alley, and Gotham does what it always does to new arrivals. It decides to eat them. You know the X-Men as the team that fights cosmic gods and world-ending machines. Drop 6 of them onto the wet pavement of Gotham, and the rules change.
Every single one of those characters.
There's no alien armada tonight. There's a city that's been weaponizing human psychology for 100 years. This is Mike. We're back for another awesome video for Nerd Science. Leave your like, subscribe, and let's roll it. The question isn't whether they can win a straight fight. It's whether Gotham can break them first. Because the city split.
I'm not gonna lie, I never really thought of Jubilee as like anybody too strong, but she probably is kind of strong. I mean, in the X-Men Legends game, she just shoots fireworks and her regular melee is like not really fun to use. Other than that, she's cool though. She's cool, I guess.
The team apart the moment they landed, and right now, every one of them is alone. The descent, fear and probability. Jubilee is 17 years old, cut off from the team, and she just took a full dose of Scarecrow's fear toxin. The gas floods the brain's fear centers all at once. For a normal person, that means paralysis, screaming, hallucination. For Jubilee, it means
that's funny. He started
worse.
with Scarecrow.
Her plasma sparks aren't automatic. She has to consciously shape them and hold them in, and the toxin scrambles exactly the control she needs. She becomes a walking short circuit, throwing uncontrolled bursts of light and heat in every direction. Unable to stop herself, Scarecrow didn't just incapacitate her. He turned her into her own worst enemy. Survival rating so far, tier D. She's conscious, but she's a liability. Two-Face's mercenaries find
get her out of here.
Let's
bring in the other members.
Automatic weapons open
it's
up
not just her.
3 directions. She can't fire back without detonating herself, and she can't run because she can't focus long enough to coordinate her own legs. She's seconds from being cut apart. Then the air tears open 6 feet to her left, and Nightcrawler is already moving. Kurt Wagner teleports by displacing himself through another dimension and stepping back into this one somewhere else.
Where's his sword?
Range is short, roughly 2 miles on a good day, and hauling a passenger cuts that down hard while leaving them both sick and disoriented. A clean grab and jump out of a firefight is well inside his limit. This is not clean. Jubilee is thrashing.
Nightcrawler is another character who I feel like would be scary to go up against for anybody, like no matter who it is, because Nightcrawler could just teleport you anywhere, drop you, and then, you know, whatever, like leave you there. Kind of busted, bro. I mean, he's not, I don't think he's Omega level mutant, but he could kill Omega level mutants, right?
Sparks firing at random.
course.
What the? There's a hell mode? A game that never...
Every twitch
Game that
throwing
never
off the
ends.
spatial math he needs to land safe. He locks the jump and pushes through anyway because there's no other option left. They come out wrong. Instead of a rooftop 2 blocks over, they punch through the ceiling of an old shipping warehouse, drop 20 feet, and hit the concrete hard enough to crack it. Kurt takes the impact, rolling to bleed off the force, but his shoulder catches a steel support beam and something gives. Jubilee lands on top of him, still flickering, still terrified. They're alive. That's the best thing you can say about that. Kurt drags himself
Always
upright,
good.
confirms she's conscious but spiraling, and does the only thing left. He climbs. He gets her into the rafters 30 feet up, away from anything flammable, and locks her to a beam with his tail so she can't fall while the toxin burns out of her system. Survival rating for Nightcrawler, Tier B. He
That's
pulled
gotta
off
be
the
A.
rescue, took
He can-
real damage doing it, and bought the team time. Tier C for Jubilee.
He can do
She's
it, no
breathing.
damage.
Barely counts, but it counts. The ground floor is empty now, dark and wide open. And somewhere outside, something very large just kicked in a door. The Berserker. Physiology versus chemistry. The warehouse doors don't open. They come.
Again, somebody like Bane going up against Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler could easily just hold on to him in some type of way, any way, doesn't matter. Teleport him to the ocean, and you know what's funny? I wonder if he could teleport people deep underwater and then teleport out of that. He probably could, but I don't know how that would work. Like, I feel like he would be able to. Right? Nightcrawler's busted. He really is.
Come off the hinges, and Penguin's men pour through the gap. 8 soldiers in full tactical gear, rifles up, thermal optics running. Behind them, filling the door frame like a wall that learned to walk, is Bane. He hits the venom pump on his wrist before he's fully through the door. The veins across his neck and forearms rise against the skin. His frame swells, and inside 2 seconds, he's carrying enough chemically forced muscle to put 3 tons of force behind a single strike.
Get Wolverine
He's
in there.
survived fights that
gonna
leveled
dice him
buildings.
up.
He fully expects to find
Dice him
2
up,
injured
crazy.
mutants cowering in the dark. Logan drops
Yeah, I'm
from
about
the
to say,
ceiling
I'm about
in
to
the
say,
center of
damn.
the squad. Penguin's men do exactly what trained soldiers do when something falls into their formation. They open fire. At close range, with automatic weapons,
mad they're actually
they
penguins,
don't
though.
miss. Logan takes rounds in the chest, the shoulder, the thigh, and 1 through the side of the neck. He goes down for about half a second. Then the bullets start coming back out. His healing factor doesn't just close wounds. It pushes the foreign metal out as the tissue rebuilds around
Wolverine's walking down Gotham himself. I don't care what anybody says. He can go up against everybody, anybody in Gotham.
it. The mercenaries watch spent rounds drop out of his skin onto the concrete while the holes seal behind him. 2 of Penguin's men break immediately. 3 more back toward the door. The last 3 raise their weapons again, which is when Logan pops the claws. And the rest of them decide Gotham doesn't pay nearly enough for this.
Yeah,
that
hell
leaves
no.
Bane. He charges, because that's what Bane does when everything else fails. And he goes straight for the backbreaker, the move that put Batman in a wheelchair and ended careers. He gets Logan across his knee and drives down with the full 3 tons. Spine is the target. Adamantium doesn't bend. The metal bonded to Logan's skeleton is functionally
I forgot. I
unbreakable,
almost forgot.
which
I was like
means Bane's
cracking,
strike has
like,
nowhere to
he
send its
actually was
force
cracking it, but
except
he was gonna
back
heal, but-
into the point of contact. His kneecap meets an
Damn.
immovable object at full power. It doesn't crack. It shatters. The feedback travels up his leg and splits his femur before he even registers the
Broke
pain.
his own
Bane floor. Logan stands up, rolls his neck once, and looks down at him. The whole thing takes 14 seconds from the moment the doors came off. Survival rating, tier S for Wolverine. Not a wound that lasted 30 seconds. Not a single moment the outcome was in doubt. Gotham's physical gauntlet wasn't a fight. It was an inconvenience. Then, Logan's nose catches something underneath the gunpowder and blood. A chemical trace, faint and specific, drifting down from somewhere above. Not Scarecrow's toxin, something else entirely.
Have you ever seen a game where the strong...
Have you ever seen a game where the strong... No.
You are in the wilderness.
Never seen it.
Mind game. Madness versus telepathy. Jean Grey walks into the warehouse and finds Logan standing over a man in a purple suit who is laughing at the ceiling. Not nervous laughter. The Joker's laughing the way a man laughs when he's the only one who knows
diabolical.
the punchline.
Like, it is
which,
funny.
In this case, he is. He's wired the entire block. The warehouse, the two buildings beside it, the gas main running under the street. Enough.
He accepted his fate already.
Explosive to drop 4 square blocks of Gotham into rubble. He swallowed a detonator 20 minutes ago. There's no wire to cut and no device to grab. The only way to stop it runs through his head. And he built the situation that way on purpose. He's been waiting for exactly this. Jean crouches down in front of him, and he grins wider because he already knows what's coming and thinks it's the funniest thing that's ever happened to him. She goes in. The Joker's mind is a trap. Memory, fantasy, rage, and rational thought all fire at the same frequency at once. With no order between them, a structure deliberately collapsed so there's no safe path through it. Telepaths have come out of his head needing months of recovery. Jean spends about 2 seconds in his surface layer before she hits the wall of fractured noise built to throw any reader off. She flinches. Logan steps forward. She holds up one hand to stop him without breaking concentration. Then she goes around it. An Omega-level telepath doesn't read a mind the way a radio picks up a signal. Jean works closer to the way a surgeon works, isolating specific clusters of neurons, navigating around damaged or chaotic tissue without engaging it at all. The Joker's madness is real, and it's genuinely disorienting. It's also completely irrelevant to what she came for. She drops past the surface chaos into the procedural memory where the detonation sequence is stored and pulls the code in under 4 seconds. She disarms the block remotely. Then, with the same precision, she reaches into the cluster of neurons running his consciousness and switches them off. Not permanently, just enough. The Joker stops laughing mid-breath and folds sideways onto the concrete. Still grinning, completely unconscious. Survival rating, tier S for Jean Grey. The one weapon Gotham was certain no one could beat turned out to be a 4-second errand. Then the roof lights up white, and the thrum of helicopter rotors shakes the rafters.
Ain't doing anything.
The Omega Shift. Elements versus assassins. Ra's al Ghul doesn't send a warning shot. He steps onto the warehouse roof like a man arriving at a scheduled appointment. 300 League of Assassins
Wolverine just fighting all of them. Give him 10 minutes. There'll be a mountain of bodies on that rooftop.
Operatives rappelling down behind him in complete silence. Blades out, covering every exit at once. He's done the math. 6 mutants, 2 of them down, 1 injured. He's spent roughly 6 centuries dismantling empires, kept young by the Lazarus pits. And he knows exactly what an exhausted enemy looks like. He's wrong about the exhaustion.
Right.
And he's catastrophically wrong about what's coming through the east wall. Cyclops hits the building at a dead sprint and doesn't slow down to read the room, because he already has. He reaches up, pulls his visor off completely, and opens both eyes at full aperture for exactly 1.5 seconds. What leaves his eyes isn't heat, and it isn't a laser. People get that wrong constantly. It's pure ruby red concussive force, and at full release with no visor to throttle it, the output lands closer to a tactical detonation than anything you'd call a punch. The helicopter above Roz ceases to exist. The front line of assassins, 60 of them, goes airborne. The shockwave rolls the rest of them backward across the roof and stacks them against
Cyclops did it in 5 seconds. That's fine.
the perimeter wall in a heap
Wolverine's
of
still more
tangled
busted.
limbs. Ra's al Ghul, who has survived things that erased lesser men from history, grabs a rooftop antenna to keep from going over the edge and looks up. Storm is already there.
Now it's really over.
Monroe doesn't need to import weather into Gotham. The city makes its own. A cold front off the bay, heavy industrial smog, humidity locked near 80%. She reads all of it the way a conductor reads an orchestra and brings both hands up. What she does next isn't a wall of lightning or a tornado funnel. She drops the barometric pressure across a 40-meter radius by a precise, calculated amount, and the temperature follows it straight down. The moisture sitting in the air, the smog, the condensation on every surface, all of it flash freezes in under 3 seconds. The remaining assassins never get the chance to charge. The cold snap locks their joints and the air turns to ice in their lungs. And 240 trained killers
I've never
stop
really seen
moving
Storm
at the exact same
do,
instant,
like, icy
frozen
stuff
in place, like a photograph of a battle
before.
that never finished. Ra's al Ghul lowers his sword. He's lived long enough to recognize a threshold he cannot cross. The whole engagement lasts under 40 seconds from the moment Cyclops pulled his visor off. Ra's came to Gotham expecting to purge a handful of mutants with conventional tactics and 6 centuries of martial wisdom. He got a physics problem he couldn't solve. Survival rating, tier S for both Cyclops and Storm. This wasn't a fight, it was a demonstration.
Demonstration.
The sun comes up over Gotham, and the city looks exactly the way it always does. Broken, gray, and completely unbothered by what just happened. Gotham's rogues built their power on fear, shadows, and one assumption: that human psychology is universal. 6 strangers came into the city scattered and alone, exactly the way the rogues like their victims. 6 of them walk out of it together. The rogues forgot to account for the possibility that some of the people standing off that wet pavement aren't quite human anymore. If you want to see what happens when Batman himself walks into this equation, drop your prediction in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you don't want to miss that one, because that conversation's gonna get messy.
We did see that one, didn't we? I think we saw that. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did see, like, the X-Men would wipe Batman. I mean, we just seen the X-Men villains. If the X-Men villains are wiping Batman, like, we already know X-Men are doing that easily. It'll still be a fun watch, you know what I mean? So hit that bell button too. Stay notified for when I drop. GG's though, otherwise. That'll do, boys. That'll do.